We love some Jake, yeah.
Yeah.
Then that means I got to pretty myself up for this shit.
And I ain't fucking doing
Me
it.
too. So that's going to take a lot of work. We don't have all the time in the fucking day for that.
Because I'm a passive-aggressive petty bitch.
And that's okay.
Son of a bitch, I have to cancel it.
If you're born stupid, you don't know.
You don't know any fucking... Yeah,
Right.
It's like being dead. That is fucked up, Jake.
Get real close to that mic.
Oh, Samantha, that was kind of porn-esque.
So the three of it, motherfucker.
So much violence.
Fucking up the pop shield.
Made out of swamp ash. I didn't say swamp ass.
God, I'd hope it's not made out of swamp ass.
I identify as a woman who's been pregnant.
I'm Jake Jacobs, and you're listening to What the Fuck? Okay, hey, we are back, and the gang is all here. Samantha and Don are both here. Welcome once again to the shit show. And Don, Samantha has never heard of the legend of the Hungarian Meat Whistle.
So the Hungarian Meat Whistle. I'm not sure who. Maybe I named that maybe years ago. I don't know. But Mitchell Fletcher is one of the greatest fucking voices in all of music, as far as I'm concerned. His fucking guys and his brothers are awesome too, James and John, and they have this sibling harmony to fucking die for. Mitchell fucking loved. There was two things that he would hang his fucking hat on. One was the Hungarian Meat Whistle. The other was
Sling Blade.
Sling Blade. Yeah. You got anything to eat back there?
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. You get him doing that. Holy shit.
Oh, shit.
And he can do that voice and just make shit up. He'll make shit up on the spot. And you're like, holy fuck.
The boy, yeah. So the Hungarian Meat Whistle. It sounds like this metal guitar. I can't tell you. I can't imagine how many Nashville records that is embedded on somewhere.
My God.
Just dumb shit.
I could open up all of my Pro Tool sessions and just look for a track that's labeled HMW or Don, and I guarantee you that Hungarian Meat Whistle will be in there, buried in the track somewhere.
Mm-hmm. So you might be listening to, a little Dirt Road Anthem, and I was like, and you're like, what the fuck?
You're like, I think that's Don's big mouth on there.
If I got nothing else, I got that.
A couple of years ago, I fancied myself an audiobook narrator, and after a lot of my customers would tell me that I should do that, I had one guy say, are you on the radio? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, no, are you like a DJ or something? I'm like, no, why do you ask? He goes, you have that voice. About 2 years ago, and Don actually bought the first audiobook I did. It's about working internet or side gigs or something.
Side gigs. Yeah,
it was a totally AI written book, but it was my first one, and I wanted to get my feet wet. So then I was doing other auditions, and I was doing about 10 auditions a day. And that sounds like a lot, but it's really not, because when you audition for audiobooks, you only give them 2 minutes. They can send you a whole fucking manuscript, but you only send them 2 minutes because
they're not going to listen past that point.
After the first 15 seconds, they already know whether or not they're going to pick you or not.
Right.
So 2 minutes, do 10 auditions a day. That's really not that much. Up until that point, I had been sticking with nonfiction because that just, to me, seems, maybe it's taking the easy way out, but I'm using my voice.
You don't have to put on a character.
There's no characters. There's no dialogue.
Right.
So on this one particular day, it was at the end of the day, and I had done maybe 15 auditions, and I was just tired. My voice was shot. This book came up, and I'm looking at it, and it's an autobiography. And I'm like, okay. So I pulled up the audition script, and the very first thing is a word of dialogue. It was a shootout scene. It was a DEA agent in an action scene. That's what he wanted to hear. So I did it. And when I tell you I didn't put a whole lot into it, I really didn't, because I was already tired. And I was like, I don't do these kinds of books anyway. I'm not going to get picked for it, but fuck it. I'm just going to do the audition just for the practice, right? So I did it. Next day I get an email through ACX. And they're like, the author of The Noble Experiment by David Gaddis wants you to produce this book. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Well, I had to go back and look and see, like, which one was that?
Which one was it? Yeah.
That's the one with the fucking, God damn it.
You're like, I got to do dialogue.
So I went back and looked at the book, and it's a fucking 10-hour book. It's a 10-hour read, right? So I reached out to the author, and he responded fucking right away. He's like, you were one of 10 that I had it narrowed down to. Your voice just captured the sarcasm no other person captured, because during that scene, right, there was some sarcasm in there, just the way that he writes. He's like me. It's our second language, right? He said, you saw it and read it the way that I wrote it. That's why I had to pick you. So David Gaddis, he was high up in the DEA. He's retired now from the DEA, but
Is this a segue into he's coming on the show?
yes, he started listening on YouTube, which, by the way, is fucking blowing up right now for
Nice.
whatever reason.
For whatever reason. What do you mean? I mean, look
We're
at us.
hilarious.
We're funny as fuck.
What the fuck? We're
This is the goddamn
hilarious.
Seinfeld show of fucking podcast. We just sit here and talk about whatever.
So Dave reached out to me and he said, "Hey man, I absolutely love what you guys are doing. Can I be on the show?" I'm like, "Abso-fucking-lutely." You know what, Samantha? I've been dying to ask you. Driving for Uber, have you had any what the fuck moments since you started?
So I don't drive. I only do like food deliveries, but I have had. Yeah, no, I don't want people. First of all, my car's a hot ass mess. I just do food delivery, but I will say like it's been nice doing it. One, because I'm getting to know different businesses that when I lived here in my hobbit hole of never going out, I was very restricted on what I knew of my area and places and stuff like that. So like I've been picking up from places that I'm like, damn, I got a Cajun seafood, but it smells delicious. But no, some of them, it's funny because like I've had a couple repeat people that I'm like, as soon as I see the address, I'm like, all right, I got you, girl. And like, so I've started doing sticky notes. But one of the things was we had an order the other night and we went to go buy Taco Bell. And the order was literally just like 3 or 4 just straight bean burritos. I was like, somebody's I mean, that's one way to keep your house heated. I mean, shit. And it's just funny because like you see these orders for people and you're like, and I think it's funny because my daughter laughs every time I do it. I'm like, because I do the same thing when I get food delivery. Like you wait for them to leave so you can be your little gremlin self, run out and grab your food. Nobody sees you and you go back in your house. So like, I drop the food off. I'm like, that's right. Get your food, you little gremlins. I think it's so funny because I'll literally like I'll sit there for a second sometimes when I'm like going through the app or whatever and I'll notice they won't come out right away. Like I literally as I'm driving away I'll check my rear view and see them finally like come out and like yeah, and they're like right inside. I'm like the little crap they got their food.
Here's a what the fuck moment for you folks. I am a trained and well-educated electronics technician. I was an IT guy. And for 4 fucking straight weeks since Jake has invited me to start doing this show with him.
What?
I have had some sort of fucked up shit wouldn't work. I was using these fucking I was using these ear pods by a famous rapper that a large company purchased recently. I love them. They're great for flying on airplanes. And then I put on another set of, I don't know, they're fucking these fancy schmancy headphones. The first thing I didn't have was a microphone. So Jake said, here, you need to buy this microphone. So I did. And I like it. But now I got these high-speed, low-drag, I don't even know what the fuck they are, Audio-Technica
Nice.
headphones. And they were about $39 or something like that. I got them off Amazon, and they seem to be very good. But the what the fuck part of that is I could not today. I shit you. Today's episode should be called "I might get my shit together one day." Well, today was almost that day.
Yeah.
To start it off, I got on. Very first thing, I came in early. I downloaded fucking Chrome because Riverside does not play well with Firefox
Or Safari.
Safari. I got everything lined. I got in here early. Got my studio early. We get on, and I see their lips moving, and I don't hear a goddamn thing. And I'm just like,
it was just you though, because when I first came in, he couldn't hear me, but I could hear him. But then it eventually kicked in.
Y'all could hear me.
Yeah.
I could sit because
I'm
Jake.
gonna blame Riverside today. I'm gonna blame Riverside.
Jake's
for it today.
waving his cell phone at me. So what you guys don't see is that we're looking at each other via video for continuity of this conversation and to kind of fuck with Samantha just every now and again. For sport. But Jake's got his phone. He's waving his phone at me like, text me. But anyway, I figured it out. That was my what the fuck moment for the day. And I realized it's not an earth shattering what the fuck moment.
No. Yeah.
Like me living, here in St. Augustine and having to drive with Northeasterners, that type of what the fuck moment. Like, where did you people come from? Go there, go back. But yeah, for today.
My same thing when I first came in. He could see me talking but couldn't hear me, and I literally was sitting there. I was like, "Oh, I'm the fucking problem this week."
Yeah, so I've been the fucking problem for the last month, and then today I was like, I got my shit together. I bought all this new stuff. In fact, I didn't just bimbly buy that shit. I asked the engineer on this show, Jake,
What should I do?
Shoot me a reco.
So I sent him I literally just Googled cheap over the air wired headphones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first one that came up was like, it was like a $17 pair or something.
Yes,
I said, here, something like this, something that has a wire on it that doesn't have a built-in microphone. It doesn't have to be anything fancy schmancy, something like this.
So here's a fun part too about that. If you ever decide to get into podcasting out there, by all means do that. Here in the 21st century, technology nearly dictates 100% that every fucking thing is overly engineered. And so trying to find a headset that did not have a microphone in it was a pain in the nuts. Mm-hmm. So what you have to do is you have to put in studio monitor headsets.
Gotcha.
Because even the $17 ones have fucking microphones in there, right? They're gamers and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this has a built-in mic, but it can flip up and it mutes itself.
Well, see, that made sense. I wanted something. I didn't want to take a chance. I was like, I want something that is in no way 21st century, that is 19th century if possible. And that's what these cans are. I mean, these are fucking cans. That's it. There's no noise canceling. There's no nothing. You know what? They work, and I love them. It's nice.
Welcome to What the Fuck, where we talk about gear.
That's right, man.
Sometimes you got to do it.
So I have a heartwarming What the Fuck. I was perusing YouTube after I got done cleaning up what I don't want to watch. You know, and then it gives you more recommendations.
Yeah.
But, so obviously I'm a music guy. So obviously there's a lot of music recommendations. And I love those reaction videos where you take somebody who's completely on the other side of it reacting to a piece of music they would never, ever listen to in their lifetime. And you'll watch them react to it. I love those because you'll see people hearing a piece of music that they would have never listened to before and just watch their reaction. And you could see that they're like, holy shit, this is actually really good, right? I love that, right?
Yeah.
I'll have to look up this kid's, I call him a kid. He's a young man. He's a producer, but he's really young. If I had to guess, maybe he's 23, 24. I don't know. Someone wrote into his show or emailed him and said, we want to see a reaction video to Pink Floyd, The Wall. And at first I thought he was just going to, be like one of those like, oh, this is like above my head.
Yeah.
So if you remember, Don, the opening to The Wall starts out real quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It's got this you had to like turn it up, and I'm watching him do this, and he's like, I can barely hear this, and all of a sudden that first song kicks in the flash, boom, da, and he like, it takes him back, right? And then he's like, wow, that was loud. And I'm like, that's exactly what Roger Waters,
the response he was looking for.
But what was cool about this is a lot of times they will sit there and they'll pause the song, and then they'll talk about it. They're like, I don't get it, and blah, blah, blah. I hate when they do that. This kid, from that moment on, it caught his attention. He only paused it once, halfway through the first album, because it's a double album, just to make an observation. And then he had to split it up into 2 videos. As he's going, like, I think I understand what's going on. And for somebody to listen to that piece of music and to understand it and dissect it and somewhat understand it on the first listen, he was like doing some critical listening to it.
Yeah.
By the end of it, he was just like, this was life-changing. He would have never, ever listened to that in his lifetime. And now that was cool.
Jake, you're exactly right. I thought I was the only guy that went down those rabbit holes on that shit. But man, I think that's amazing watching people that have never heard.
I was getting goosebumps watching this kid digest The Wall. Why am I enjoying this? It almost felt like I was being a voyeur, like watching somebody in secret, react to something. But it was really cool. I could waste so much time watching those videos.
Well, it's not wasted time. It's educational time, really.
Yeah.
I was an extra on the TV show Nashville.
The
second
That's
season.
right. I think you told me about that at one point.
Yeah, the second season, the very first episode of the second season, there's a scene in a trailer park, and I'm in 2 separate scenes. And if you look closely in the background, you'll see me wearing a bandana, and I got the torn up jeans going on, and I'm wearing a tank top, a white beater T-shirt.
Scope you out on there.
I don't even remember how I got that gig. I must have signed up for something, but I got this email, and at first I thought it was spam. And they're like, "Are you interested in being an extra on the show Nashville?" So I said, "Sure." And I thought, well, it's probably a scam. It was legit, right? So we show up there. They kind of told you the scene and what they were looking for and what they wanted you to look like.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get here, we have a wardrobe department that if you're not wearing what they want you to wear, they'll put you in something, right?
They'll put you in what they need.
So they describe the scene, like trailer park. So I got it, right? Mm-hmm. So what does that say about me? So I show up, right?
You're like, I'm good to go.
Nice.
All these people are here for that same part, right? So some people were like, okay, we're going to put you in this. We're going to give you this. They came up to me and they're like, you're good.
You're good.
I had it.
You're like, oh shit, I'm too good.
This is my everyday fucking workwear, man.
That was a long fucking day, but I got $200 out of the deal.
Very nice.
And
beer money.
A catered meal for lunchtime. And what was really cool about that is I forget
Crafty.
who the caterer was, but the food was fucking out of this world. Like it was
Nice.
amazing. And the cast, including Hayden
Panettiere.
yeah, and all the rest of the cast that was shooting that day were all eating there with us. Like there was no separation, cast, extras, crew, the whole 9 yards. But we literally started at 8 o'clock that morning, and I didn't get home till 10 o'clock that night. So it was
Dang,
a long
dude.
fucking day.
Mm.
And when you break it down, you're really only making maybe minimum wage at that point.
But
you
you're
know?
probably standing around most of the time, not really using a whole lot of brain power for what you're doing.
When I was in high school, we had a foreign exchange teacher from Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
Oh my God, Mr. Norris. I mean, the fact that I remember his name, he made an impact on me.
That's awesome.
It was junior English, so English 3 or whatever that would have been. He had an interesting project, and it was for your final, as part of your final, but it was a 10-page something. But the caveat was that he got to pick the topic for you. In other words, you couldn't choose. So he didn't do that right away. Like he wanted to get to know his class before he would pick something. Like he wasn't
right. Kind of get a feel for everybody, being like, all right, I think this would be good.
So knowing that I love music, he gave me the topic of Jesus Christ Superstar.
Interesting.
Well, that originated as a rock opera double album in 1970. Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber. Right. So I'm like, oh my God, you got to be fucking kidding me. Or like, why would you do that to me? So I went to the library, the school's library, and they had it on vinyl. So I checked it out and I took it home. When I heard Ian Gillan, who was the lead singer of Deep Purple at the time, he was singing the part of Jesus. I was like, holy fuck, this is good. Right. So I really got into it. There's been various different versions of it. There was a movie made, but Ian Gillan, he was the singer on the original album. And then he didn't go on tour with it. He was in Deep Purple. He's like, I'll do this, but that's not my thing.
Right.
There are some songs on there where he hits notes that no other singer that has done that can match what he did on that original album. And there's a song called Gethsemane. He hits this note like it's not impossible to hit because other people were doing it. But where I'm going with this is right before COVID hit, right before the world fucking shut down, there was a touring company doing Jesus Christ Superstar, but they weren't doing the play per se. They were doing the original album. Right. And it was just like a rock concert kind of thing. But they're, you know, they were dressed up, but they were basically just staying true to the original album.
Right.
And I got tickets to see it. I'd never seen it
live.
That's
Awesome.
Right. So I got tickets to it. And ironically enough, that was the last show. They were supposed to be in Cleveland the next day. They got to Cleveland and it shut down. Boom. So I was lucky enough to get to see it, right? So the show is great. The cast was great. Everything was, you know, it was everything that I had imagined. And it comes up to that song, Gethsemane, that I was telling you about. And on the original album, Ian Gillan, right before that note, he starts singing, but he's not on that note already. He starts like a couple octaves down and kind of like slides up into that note. And when he hits that note, it's just like I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about that note that he sings, right?
Yeah.
So this singer who was doing that part, he was really good throughout the whole show. Gets to that part, you know, you're just about to fucking climax. Like, and what he does, he hit the note, but he went right to it. He just went bing right to that fucking note. Like he didn't slide into it like Ian Gillan did. And I'm like, well, that was anticlimactic.
Oh no.
I feel cheated now. I mean, he hit the note, but he just like he was,
but not in the amazing way that.
Yeah, it's almost like he was just showing off. Like he could go right to it, like whatever that note was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, motherfucker.
That's some bullshit.
Like,
These
no
fucking
finesse,
professional singers.
No grace. Come
like,
on.
Please give me a goddamn reach around.